Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World. And in this video, we're going to look at VERDI and we're going to review her a little bit. As you can see, as compared to my pool video, I now have her at full rainbow. And I made that decision not based on how good this character is, because we're going to talk about that in a second, but mainly because there were the New Heroes pouches, and I kind of went all in on them and used all the suspension that I was thinking about spending on the black market. I ended up using it on the pouches, and I used like what 70k suspendium, more or less, I would say, that are like 230 pools, something like that. And I got like 400 pools in total. So I used up a lot of them to get VERDI to full rainbow. Then I also got Kunran finally to full rainbow, and I got one more copy of Blood Road as well. So overall, it was quite nice. I also got this guy finally to 3 red, so I could remove him from the wish list. And I still have like 160 tickets left that we'll use on Romay when she comes out. And yeah, I still have a bit of suspendium left. I didn't spend all of it, but still most of it. So yeah, I hope I'll be back to like 50k or so by the time that data work drops. I'm pretty sure I can because I have the daily suspendium packs, so it should be fine. And I already have plenty of black market tickets anyway, so I'm pretty sure I can get as many copies as data work actually needs. But yeah, I went off track here. Let's go back to talking about VERDI. So that's why you see now her at full rainbow, so that I could also get the 80 tickets from the growth mission. So VERDI. So let's first talk about how good she is at different stages of investment, as I did in my previous video. And VERDI before 3 red, I would say, is not really the best character. Just because like you really want herb passive at level 5. This boost is insane, and like a 3 green, okay, it could be fine. It would be like 10% attack, and then you get the 40% attack from the 3 green. So you could still use her for what she's good at 3 green actually. So you don't need to get her to 3 red, to be honest. It is not necessary. Uh, The other thing I wanted to mention is that even if you get her a 3 red, she won't be usable in adventure and PvP. One, because of how her kit is working, and two, because of accuracy issues. So you really want the full rainbow on, well, not necessarily the full rainbow, but at least one rainbow on every ranged unit because they have like less accuracy from the gear. So you really need those 30 additional accuracy points. But that being said, definitely no dupes, like most SSR is pretty trash. 3 green, you can already use her, like in the content she's good at, which is the boss content. And for everything else, she's pretty much below average, I would say. You cannot really use her for adventure. You cannot really use her for PvP. She's just too single target, and she doesn't have that much utility in her kit. Okay, she has a 40% purple resistance shred, but that's not enough. She's not going to cast that skill because she will be dead by then. So to me, this character is just lacking for that kind of content. So it's basically like every other boss unit we have in the game, except for Blarode because that guy is also good in adventure. But I would say this guy, no, this girl, sorry, is like Cheonwa. So terrible in adventure, kind of terrible in PvP, and then good in boss fights. Like Shibisu, terrible in adventure, terrible in PvP, really good in boss fights, and stuff like that. So she's just going to be a boss unit. If you're not like lacking in that part of the game, you don't need to invest in her at all. She won't help you in adventure. She won't replace Kunki Seiya. She won't replace an eventual Rachel. She won't replace those units. So there's no point in that. All she's good at is boss fights, and there she is really a beast. Then we are going to try and beat my like my highest score against the hard that I just did with Joaquin, and we will see if she can beat him or not. Uh, okay, that was pretty much all in regards to how good she is. So again, 3 green for boss content is still quite fine. So you can use her, definitely. You don't need to overinvest in a boss unit, I would say at the beginning. Definitely 3 red will help with the additional attack stack and also the additional damage on the special skill, which actually deals a ton of damage. But other than that, really not that necessary. And you don't really need to take her to full rainbow if you want to use her in boss content, because then the accuracy issue is less relevant. And you have other boss units that can help you address that, like Apple or Liron 3 or guys like that. So no worries regarding the accuracy. You can just take her to 3 red if you want to use her in boss fights, and she'll do just fine. Now then, let's have a look at her skills. And the first skill we're going to talk about is special move. And this skill at level 1 is already quite great. It is 160% of VERDI attack 10 times, so 1600 damage. But then on level 5 is 320% for 10 times, so 3200 attack. That's, I think, one of the highest scaling we have in all of the skills for all units. So this single target damage is crazy, really, really crazy. Then we get the Inkjet. This skill is going to blind the enemy for 8 seconds. Not bad. Will help a bit with survivability, something like that. And then is going to decrease purple resistance for those 8 seconds by 40%, which is further going to increase our damage. So really, really good. Then we have Nuclear Octopus Punch. Okay, this is just going to stun and deal a nice amount of damage. And we're going to talk about one stupid thing that they did in our exclusive equipment here, but so far it's nice. It is a crowd control, single target, so fine against bosses, not that useful in adventure PvP again, but we don't really care. And then we have the passive, which is what makes this unit really, really great sorry, not in PvP, in boss fights. She will get unlimited stacks of attack increases for every time she uses a basic attack or a skill on the same enemy, which in boss fights is fairly easy. I would say against the boss that will come out on the 18th of January, she is not going to be that great because that guy is Data Gustang, obviously, and is going to summon bots. So this passive might be quite hard to trigger, so we will see. But against all other bosses, she's perfectly fine. There is a catch here, that is those stacks are reset if the attack target changes. Okay, that was pretty obvious. But then we also have if the target is knocked down, knocked back, sent airborne, or pushed back. So luckily it doesn't say other forms of crowd control like paralyze that, for example, Vespadil or even Eden. And she doesn't say anything about stuns, which she has in the kit here, so perfect. Is only in the case of knockdown, knockback, airborne, and pushback. Which there are some bosses that are immune to that, so even better. So I would say overall, this is the best skill she has, and definitely your priority when you're leveling her up. I would say passive is your first skill to level. The Inkjet is the second one, and this one is just dealing additional damage. We don't really care, so it's the last one to level up. So that being said, that was all for our skills. Now let's have a look at something that really disappointed me, and that is the exclusive equipment. And that's also the reason why mine is still a +0, and I highly doubt I will ever take it higher than that. So our level 1 skill is quite good in boss fights. She is going to gain a lot of swiftness, which in turn will help with casting our special skill. So a lot of damage and value from this one. Level 2 is kind of okay, nothing too important. Like it takes the purple resistance shred from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. Okay, fine, but I wouldn't worry too much, to be honest. The +20 is what's really, it's a bit troll, and not a bit, really a lot, because it's just adding a knockback on the nuclear octopus punch, which already had a stun. Now they're adding a knockback, which resets the stacks from your passive, which is stupid. So yeah, I mean, this really doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I guess the reason why they did it is because at +20 you unlock the ignition weapon system, so the carrier, and if you give her the L set, she's going to be an absolute monster. So they had to put in a way to reset those stacks. I didn't check how often she cast this nuclear octopus punch. I didn't see it that much, to be honest. So it might not be a big issue overall, but still, it's quite stupid. This is probably the first exclusive equipment skill that is a debuff instead of a buff. Is really dumb, in my opinion. But I get it. If you unlock the +20, like the carrier, and you keep the L set, she's going to be a beast. Again, only in boss fights, not the rest of the content, but yeah, she's going to be a monster. And so they had to put something to stop her a little bit. So I'm not going to invest in her because I'm pretty sure, like in her exclusive equipment, because I'm pretty sure she works just fine without it. And I don't really care about the L set that much. Sure, it will boost the damage quite a bit. I'm sure of it. But the problem is, this is a boss unit that already performs well at exclusive equipment +0. So I will prioritize someone else. I don't think is at the level that you actually are required to unlock it. So to me, this one is just going to stay a +0, and we will see how she performs, if she can beat Joaquin with +0 exclusive equipment or not. The only problem is that obviously you lose access to crit damage increase, to magic pierce, and you lose access to an additional 80% of attack. But I would say we don't really care about the attack, and it's a bit of a shame for the magic pierce and crit damage, but no problem. I mean, I don't care. We also lose the 10% crit rate that this exclusive equipment gives. Again, a bit of a shame, but I don't really care, and I don't want to invest in this unit's exclusive equipment. If I find anything else out, guys, that will change this, like my judgment on this, I will let you know in the comments, but for now, that's my stand on this exclusive equipment thing here. That being said, I also wanted to mention one other thing here in the skill, which is about her special skill. And here it says that the giant octopus pushes away all allies and enemies when it appears. So that would like reset the stacks if the enemy is close to you, because that's really just to make space for the giant octopus. So in boss fights, in theory, you shouldn't have anyone around, so it won't matter. So yeah, again, just a quick note, but just worth mentioning. Next up, like as a topic, we have the gear, and I would recommend going the way I did it here. I would say accuracy is not as important, to be honest, so you can just stop at +3, +4, and then get slot 2 at +3, +4, and then that's about all you need to care about. especially in boss fight, you don't need to increase any of these other two pieces because slot 4 you're not going to use her in adventure, so when by the time the boss reaches a stage it can deal damage to you, you'll be dead. So no problems, like no need to invest, just a little bit of slot 1 for some accuracy, and then slot 2 are all you need. Then again, let's talk about the ignition weapon now, but unfortunately I cannot show you anything. I already said pretty much all I wanted to. So again, best set is going to be the L set, and you're going to want to increase not that much the attack piece, again, because it's going to be additive together with the passive. So we don't really care about that 80% increase because we're getting like 1000% increase from the passive. We don't care about the 80% we get from slot 1, so I wouldn't invest in it if you were to unlock the exclusive equipment, guys, because I would not recommend it. But if you want to, feel free to do so. But I would still ignore slot 1, or at least give it less priority and focus more on the magic pierce side of things. So definitely that 40% magic pierce is going to be more useful. But again, actually, to be honest, that 40% magic pierce is not going to matter at all. And I'm going to say why. Sorry if I said before Magic Pierce was a good option. It's really not, because you are going to play her with either Shibisu or Blarode. Both of them are going to decrease by a shit ton the magic resistance of the opponent. So Blarode is going to set it to 0, and then we have Shibisu, which is going to reduce it by like 80% if you have the skills at level 5. So really high amounts there as well. So no real reason to use Magic Pierce, even though we have no clear idea of how it works currently. We don't know if it's just going to decrease the magic resistance like for the hits of that unit, or if it's going to be just 40% additional damage. We have no clear idea of how it works. From the description they shared in the website, as I talked about in my ignition weapon video, there was just mention of increase in overall damage. So that could work, and at that point, sure, it would be definitely valuable, the 40% magic pierce to get there. Otherwise, if it works as I fear, by reducing the magic resistance by like with every hit of your unit, is not going to be permanent but only for the hit of that specific unit, then it's totally useless and you're better off with additional crit rate. And yeah, that was pretty much what I wanted to mention. So I would say, just to be safe, since crit rate is something that every DPS can benefit from, and the bosses don't have crit rate reduction, just to be on the safe side, I would say go for crit rate in slot 5 and go for crit damage in slot 4. And those are the two slots you want to max, and all the other three, just forget them. You don't need to waste resources in those. Okay. That being said, that was all for the ignition weapon. Now let's go talk about the report. So again, the report here, she's sharing the same item as Hiwa. So obviously, if you don't have Hiwa at report 6, do not use this item on this unit here. But I would say swiftness maxed is important, so level 4 is pretty much mandatory. Then accuracy, sure, get it. It's definitely important to have this additional 100, but not as much as it would have been in adventure. Still, like I cannot say you can use her at 300 accuracy because at a certain point she's going to miss, but still you don't need to take her to 600 like I have. I would say 500 is fine. And so yeah, definitely 100 accuracy is mandatory, more or less, if you don't have the second wheel unlocked in the 3 Essence facility. But all I'm trying to say is that this is less relevant because you have units to decrease the evasion of the opponents or increase your accuracy. So overall, this one is less valuable, but still really important nonetheless. Okay, so that was all for how to build her and what she's used for. So now let's go to the mock battle facility and try and beat my score with Oakin. So I will first show you guys how much damage I dealt. So here is 1,600,000,000, and I did it with this team. So here we have Apple for the decrease on the evasion of this guy. Then here we have Joaquin that dealt close to 800 million damage, and Blarode as a second DPS with 640 million damage. We also had 100 million damage from Varian. Okay, fine. So Joaquin didn't do a lot of damage. We can look at the replay real quick to see, just because I also wanted to share with you guys like how Joaquin did that damage. So basically, okay, here we can see that is going on with the battle, nothing really strange. Then Zahard is going to cast a special skill, and that's when you want Joaquin to cast a special skill, because that guy is not going to move. He's going to take all the decreases, all the hits, and then is just getting a shit ton of damage in. Okay, again, it took some hits, and then it destroyed my whole team, because at that point I cannot really survive. So yeah. Okay, so that's how the fight went. And now let's see if by replacing Joaquin with VERDI we can get a better score. I will stop it a few times, I'll retry if I see that the run is not going well, so that we don't waste too many attempts. But here, let's just remove her. I will try and place the backline units in some other way. I want them to be out of harm's way as much as possible. Let's try to keep them like this and see what happens. So enter battle. I'm ready to stop it at any time because I'm not sure how she's going to perform. Like, keep in mind that she doesn't have the exclusive equipment unlocked, so she's going to probably deal less damage than that guy, but still, I would say pretty nice start. The damage from her special skill, now that we don't have all the other effects stacked, is pretty low, but still, now the damage should be quite higher. Okay, Blarode did a shit ton of damage there. Let's see the next special skill, how it's going to go. Pretty bad. Okay, my whole team was killed, and I only did 1 billion, and the damage came from, yeah, mostly Blarode, and then Varian did a little bit less damage than VERDI, so in this case, not that good. I will try and, no, okay, why did I hit on replay? Damn. So let's try to speed it up a bit, also after. I think I will try manual mode and keep her special skill for after like everyone else casted their reductions. So we can see how it goes, because here most of the damage was done again by Blarode. So meh, not the best. Let's try again. I'm pretty confident she can do a lot better, but you need to manually time her skill, I fear. So let's try again. Let's enter battle. And let's see. My issue is that I don't have the Yellow Knight at full rainbow, so he's going to cast the 80% defense shred later, so that's kind of bad. Okay, let's go auto, not auto. Let's keep her special skill. Let's use this one because we don't really care about Varian's one. Then we're going to use the accuracy one, the defense shred, and then we're going to go with the 2 DPSs and see how much the damage is going to increase. Okay, quite nice. Unfortunately, he still wiped me out. And we did pretty much the same damage, even if I manually timed everything. But this time we saw that VERDI actually did a lot more damage, because her special skill was used after, well, obviously she gained a few more stacks, and also after the debuff from the Yellow Knight was applied. So definitely that was a nice increase in damage. But other than that, I mean, as you can see, guys, I don't know. I'm sure she will be a lot stronger with the sorry, with the exclusive equipment and the ignition weapon unlocked. But I don't know. I would say with that investment, she's going to be better than Joaquin, pretty sure. You will have to manually time the skills again, so not really sure. Uh, like, well, okay, you would want to do that anyway in most boss fights, but I often just go auto, and if I see that things are going wrong, I just exit and retry again. So let's see again if we can make it work a little bit better. Try to speed it up. So let's use Varian. Let's use Apple, Yellow Knight, her, and this guy, and see what happens. Okay, the damage is going up quite a bit. Perfect. Then, okay, now they're all dead. That's a bit unfortunate. You would need to burst him down a bit more because we don't have units like my Joaquin, which has quite a bit more evasion and resistances overall. So yeah, I don't have a team that can survive his first special skill, so as soon as he cast it, we're dead. But this try was still a little bit better than before. If we look at the damage dealt by VERDI this time again is the top one. So fine, I would say. She's definitely a good unit in bosses. At this point, I would say almost on par with Joaquin. So she definitely deserves a top spot. With low investment, she's better than Joaquin. If you don't have her at full rainbow, you don't have to go manual, in theory, I would say, because the other guys are going to have their special skill up first. If you have also the Yellow Knight at full rainbow, that is. Otherwise, you still have to go manual. But overall, she definitely has value in boss fights. But, and here is my conclusion, I would say, due to the fact that Joaquin is also extremely good in boss fights, but is also a beast in PvP and adventure, I would say this unit is not really needed. There could be scenarios where you would use both of them together, and that could be really huge because of the purple resistance shred. And yeah, that could happen. Like here, if I were to not use Apple for division reduction and just rely on the initial burst, it could go well, but I fear like I cannot reach a certain amount because once the boss reaches a certain tier, he will have higher evasion. So I feel like without the reduction from Apple, I would not be able to go past like 1 billion or 1 billion and 200 millions. So yeah, there are a lot of things to take into account. VERDI definitely has a spot as a boss fighting unit, but so does Joaquin. So in my opinion, she is not worth investing in. Like Joaquin fully maxed against VERDI fully maxed. I am pretty sure VERDI is going to come out on top. She's going to deal more damage against bosses, but again, at what price? You would have wasted a ton of resources on a unit that's only good in boss fighting, while on the other hand, you have a unit that can carry you through adventure as well. And boss fights, look, they're not giving you that many resources. Like getting third in Grandmaster, for example, let's check the rewards, is going to give me 370 of these data shards, 1,000 of this underground pass coin, not really relevant because if you play the game every 2 days, you are still going to pass this, like complete the whole pass, so it's fine. And then you're going to get 190 suspendium every 2 days. But let's see if there is, can I see what you're going to get in bronze? Not really. But I remember it's not that far off. I mean, it's not going to be 370 data shard, probably at bronze 5, 250, something like that. Still, you're getting plenty. And suspendium, okay, the suspendium could even be less, but I mean, 190 every 2 days is really nothing. And the pass XP, again, you're still going to complete it, no problem. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to say, guys. I hope this review was helpful. I tried to make it as quickly as possible. I've updated my spreadsheet that I already shared with you guys with the information on VERDI. I still have doubts, and you will see also in the tables there about the plus 20 exclusive equipment, as I said also in this video. So I don't know if I would recommend it. Still, refer to this one for a more in-depth discussion, but you will have some sort of recap and information also in the spreadsheet. Okay, that was all, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, you found it helpful, and please let me know what you think in the comments. If you liked it, drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.